Welcome. Thanks for checking out another Retirement Defense download. Today we're going to be talking about long-term care. Nobody wants to reach that point in life where you need assistance when it comes to living and enjoying your day-to-day life. But there's a reality in it. The Department of Health and Human Services says that there's a large majority, 70+% of those over the age of 65 are going to need some form of long-term care at some point in the future. And if that's the case, we need to prepare for that. We need to think about what is it that we want to do. Do we want to spend our own assets? Do we want to buy some type of insurance? How are we going to prepare for that need? And then it goes even beyond that. Do you want to have long-term care at home? Do you want somebody to come to your home and take care of you? Or would you prefer to go into some sort of senior community where you have engagement with others and people there based upon your situation? So what we want to look at is what kind of options are available and just like the baseline of long-term care. Another thing the Department of Health and Human Services said is that long-term care will probably cost the average individual about $250,000. So think about that. $250,000 of care over a period of time is a lot of money. And how you're going to use that care or need that care over time is just going to depend, because a lot of times it starts out very little assistance and it works its way up to being even more assistance. I saw that myself with my grandparents and their need for long-term care over time. So you want to think about this. Talk with your family, talk with your financial advisors, and understand what options are available. But as a baseline, just to understand long-term care, because I think there's sometimes some misunderstanding of the difference of long-term care versus long-term disability, is what does long-term care mean? Long-term care means that you can't perform 2 of your 6 active daily living. So eating, bathing, dressing, maintaining continence, transferring, and toileting, or cognitive impairments such as an Alzheimer's, dementia. So when a doctor says that you can't do 2 of those 6 or those cognitive impairment, you have a long-term care need. And that care need may be very minimal initially, but it grows over time. So what are you going to do to protect against it? If we know it's going to be very costly, what is the best approach for you? Well, maybe you've done well. You've saved up in your retirement accounts. Maybe you're a lucky person with a pension or some great retirement income benefits that are coming in, and you can just self-insure. That's option 1. You're going to use those assets, your stocks, your bonds, your real estate, and you'll be okay. But what if you don't? What else do you have available? Maybe you want those assets to pass on to your family members. What could you do? Well, you could consider giving those assets away now. Okay, and one of the ways to do that is through the irrevocable trust. So you could consider doing an irrevocable trust as a way to give those assets so that you could ultimately qualify for some type of state aid or federal aid benefits. But that's not necessarily the best way to go, and there's also some challenges there. You'd want to speak with an attorney about how that would work out. Another way to go is traditional long-term care insurance. That's something where you simply go to the insurance company, you tell them how much coverage you would like to have for a period of time in the event you had a need, and you start paying a premium for that. That premium can get pretty costly. It's not a guaranteed rate. It can change over time if the insurance company needs to change the rates because they've had a lot of claims. So insuring through long-term care insurance can be a little bit challenging, but that is also an option. And then the last area is what we call asset-based long-term care. And asset-based long-term care is the ability for you to take one of your assets. You've done well, you've saved up those assets. Maybe you have some money in the bank. You have excess money that's sitting in the bank, and right now interest rates are low and you're not earning a lot on it. You could ultimately carve that off, give that chunk of money to the insurance company, and they would leverage it into a pool of assets that's greater. Typically, it's a 2 to 3 to 1. So if you gave them $100,000, you might get $250,000 of protection, maybe $300,000. It all depends upon your age, your health, and ultimately the design of that asset-based long-term care. So when it comes to looking at long-term care and how you should protect against it, make sure that you consider what options are available, how it might fit into your situation, and talk with a financial advisor to get some direction that's going to be best suited for you. Hope that was helpful. And we look forward to seeing you here for another Retirement Defense Download. Take care.